Can I have your attention? These beaches are officially closing for today. That means absolutely no more swimming. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. Welcome to Lifeguards Off Duty.
Waking up.
This is Lifeguards Off Duty. Today is April the 5th, year of our Lord 2023. Thank you for tuning in. You want to say hello, Tyler? So Tyler's
me
here.
on the bottle.
Fresh from Miami Beach.
Yeah.
And he had a good time down
serious,
there. Tan.
Burn on the legs here, you know?
Oh, God.
The one thing I always forget to rub the sunscreen on. The back.
You know where people
Dude,
get it? Their feet.
The top of my feet got
right,
so burned.
right.
So we flew back. Our flight was at 10 a.m., landed around 2, got back to Seaside around 5, and I went and played soccer.
Oh,
and
it hurts.
The burn on the top of my feet was so bad that just shooting the ball was excruciating.
Yeah. Well, all the years that I've lifeguarded, the rookies, the worst burn they get is in the top of their feet, it seems, and then they swell up and everything.
Well, it's that and the lips.
Yeah, the lips too,
and
the
the
face.
nose. Those are
the
and
lips,
the ears.
the lips.
Yeah,
and we have Sean. Say hello, Sean.
What's up, guys?
And then we have this bunch of other guys here. I don't know who they are. You're out of the picture, Sean, in our big
I know
view,
I'm not close to the table.
So.
You want me to move over for you? You want to?
Nah, that's right. You can move the camera if you want. But anyway, thank you for checking in. I don't think we haven't done a show for a while, but hopefully now we'll get back on track. There was a lot of stuff going on. It was a little shaky there for a while. And I want to thank everyone for watching us. Please, if you're on YouTube, subscribe and hit the like button. And give us some comments. We love comments. If you want to get a hold of us, we don't have the marquee there, but how about if you want to give us a call, we have a email address, which is drkachmar@icloud.com. There it is. So now you could take a look here. So we do have, so it's drkachmar@icloud.com, and we have an Instagram page. We also are on all the Twitter, Twitch. I'll tell you, I've been watching Rumble a lot more now.
I bet.
I've been on Rumble. I tell you what, you know what it is? I watch, like you talk about Steve Crowder, I watch him on YouTube and then I watch him on Rumble. It's a totally different show. There's no filter. I mean, they could say what they want to say. It's a lot. Those guys are funny.
What do they want to say?
They make jokes. Some of the jokes are like kind of dirty and stuff, but those guys are funny as crap. I mean, if you could take their politics, but they're just comedians. Now he hired like a bunch of comedians. Tell you what, I laugh my ass off listening to those guys.
There's a guy
I'm
that
glad we're giving them free advertising right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's
Rumble
right.
or Steven Crowder.
Both.
Well, we're on Rumble, so
Rumbles, yeah, and Twitch and Twitter and
guys, don't watch our show. Watch theirs.
Yeah. So anyway, what?
Thank you.
So we have
Cash,
a bunch.
your boy's in trouble. What's happening with that?
Who's that?
Your boy.
Who's my boy?
Your man.
Oh, Trump?
Yeah.
Trump, he's not in trouble. Trump just got $100 million worth of free advertisement. He's amazing. And, here's the thing. It's funny. I don't understand where the plot is, but if you don't want Trump to ever be president, if you're on the other side, just leave him alone. He would probably fade away. I mean, he's going to try, but the more you encourage it, the more you engage. I mean, everybody, like this thing yesterday, I guarantee you, everywhere, I said this, everywhere in the world, like some poor, guy in Calcutta or anywhere in the earth where there's any kind of access to the internet, they're talking about Trump.
Yeah.
he's more famous. He's the most famous person in the world right now, Trump. And then the other countries, I got one of my buddies call me up from South Africa. He's down in Tortola, and he said to me, he goes, now you know what we deal with. I mean, we're like the rest of the world now with this, with the political corruption. It's pretty bad. But anyway, I don't know where it's going to turn out, but
it seems pretty, the whole situation. I forget the number exactly. I've actually heard multiple different numbers. It's like 100,000, 500,000, a million is what this whole trial is going to be about, that he gave to Stormy Daniels, or may have allegedly given to Stormy Daniels. It's such an even $1 million for him in the whole situation is such an insignificant amount of money to like the greater picture of how much he's worth.
No, it has nothing. Like, it's not the money. Here's the thing: if you I just listened to Dershowitz this morning. This whole thing is reminiscent of the Bolshevik show trials. there's nothing here. It's, remember they said, there's nothing there, nothing to see. This is one of those things. It's such a bullshit. They're trying to. We used to say make chicken soup out of chicken shit, and there's nothing there. But they're hoping that this is going to disgrace them. It's going to turn them off, and it's a gamble. They're doing a gamble. It could backfire on them too because it's prosecutory. Some people call it prosecutory overreach. But really, if you think about it, if you step back, it really could be construed as election interference because the guy is probably going to be the presidential nominee for the Republican Party. If this is a bullshit, let's just say it is, like jaywalking kind of thing, you're interfering with the election. That's an election. So that's the election interference. The same thing they bitched about.
Well, they did the same thing with the
January
the
6th.
Yeah,
but they said January 6th was an interference with election.
He could have stopped that.
That's not the point, though. The point is that my point is that everybody agrees that interference of election is not good. Mm-hmm. Well, January 6th was not good. This ain't good either.
And the laptop wasn't good.
No,
and the laptop was the worst.
Right. I talk about this. I look at everything, and I think the other side of the coin is this. Remember, when we play football, right? We always say a good defense is an aggressive offense. I think that Biden and all of his stuff. There's a book written by Peter Schweiker called Profiles in Corruption. And in that book, it alleges a tremendous amount of corruption in the Biden family. Even if a little part of that's true, that's pretty bad. So maybe this is a way to kind of, push that back. So, okay, Trump's, we got Trump here, but then when the stuff comes out with Biden, that the laptop and he's a crook, they're going to say, oh, this is you're just trying to muddy the water. This is, because we're going after Trump. Who knows what's in people's minds. But the reality of this, it's a very, very weak case. Dershowitz has said that among other people. And so on the merits, I think this is great. I think they should drag this out as long as they can. Every time there's a hearing or a motion, it's going to be in the news. The media is going to have a hard time not following this. Yesterday I was watching a clip from CBS or NBC, whatever, MS, one of the CNN, and they said Trump gave a speech last night in Mar-a-Lago after he got home, and they didn't want to cover it because they don't want to give him fuel to the fire. Mm-hmm. Well, they're not going to be able to do that. So I don't know. Whether or not it's going to help him in the future, I don't know. I mean, I think I said this before. How bad does this country have to get before some people vote for Trump again? And we got another 2 years. I don't know how bad it's going to get. Inflation, gas prices, maybe a war. And then who is going to run against Trump? If it's between Hillary Clinton and Trump, who would you vote for? That's going to be a tough one, right?
I voted for. Can't say that anymore.
You're going to vote for.
You know who I voted for?
Of course, I know who you voted for. You can say that.
I voted for Kanye.
It was
Kanye. Yeah, you got to be careful about Kanye now.
Pre-anti-Semite.
Anti-Semite, but now he likes the Jews.
Now he likes the Jews. Now he's better.
Jonah Hill actually changed his mind. He saw 21 Jump Street.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the thing, but
that's the perfect response.
Right.
It's a joke, so no one takes it seriously. So now you can't take anything he said seriously before that.
Yeah.
This country is in a right now. If you want to get into heavy duty politics, but I didn't really want to. You just had an election in Wisconsin, and you had a very conservative Republican going after a kind of very liberal judge. They dropped the country. I mean, it was 14 million on one side, and anyway, it was a landslide. And the liberal won. And you tell you what, it was about abortion. And I keep saying that abortion in this country. I don't like abortion, but I like the idea. Well, I think abortion is killing a baby. Okay?
Cash, last episode, bro.
No, but hang on, no. But let me finish my thought though. But I'm cool with say 15 weeks. I think you can't outlaw abortion completely. I think it should be like Clinton said, rare.
So last episode we were going to talk about submarines and.
All right, we're going to talk about it. But anyway, I just want to make a point.
I get that there's an analogy I could make that a baby's kind of a submarine, but I can't do it. I can't think about it.
But the bottom line is that the Republican Party better wise up. And if you're gonna start going around in this country and say no abortion, nowhere, no how,
I think you should run.
You're gonna lose every election.
Yeah.
You gotta have common sense. And
I would vote for you.
yeah,
Me
well,
too.
I
Over
might run.
Kanye.
Yeah, but they're gonna probably come. If I ran, they'd probably say, I grabbed some girl's ass, and when I was in high school, I don't know, they'll come up with some bullshit, and I'll be like,
All your
all my
all your
exes,
exploits will come back to haunt
they'll
you.
have all my exes lined up, going, he's just, I mean, I don't think I want to, I don't have anything to hide, but you know how that is. All right, so listen, guys, who's gonna take over the,
All right, so I forget.
wanna start?
I forget
All right.
even how we brought up submarines last episode, but I do remember 1,000 subscribers to the Cashmore Gummy. Everybody subscribe. Get your friends to subscribe. We're doing the gummy.
what's the gummy?
We're gonna get you to take a gummy for
No,
1,000
I'm not taking no gummies,
subscribers.
right?
Oh yeah, we
So
might
good.
be.
No, so good.
Wait,
Talk about
1,000
So why
subs?
did you come up with submarines? Why? What is this?
I forget why I just said that, but so I have the.
We decided last episode that we were going to look into submarines, so we did it.
All right, so
What's
go ahead. So what'd you come up? I see here you has Virginia class submarines.
So the Virginia class submarine is like the most advanced submarine the United States has currently. The newest one. It's expected to serve in the Navy until 2060 to 2070. And then I also have a little bit of info on the Turtle, which is the first military submarine, and just a little bit of how far we've come.
So let's talk about the Turtle first.
So the Turtle started in 1775. I think George Washington asked for it to be made or was a part of the planning process.
So this is the John they used in like the spy shit.
Yeah, no. This was an attack ship. It's 7 feet, so like a dude barely fits in it, and he hand cranks it to go. So whatever. So I guess the knottage, what have you, is as fast as you're willing to go.
What's that? Oh, you're talking about? It's a hand crank propeller.
It's a hand crank.
You
It
can't
ain't
really
going
do
fast, I know.
It ain't going fast.
It had is 30 minutes of oxygen in it, so that means the attack to attack a boat, they need to be well within range of being fired upon to even launch this thing.
Yeah. So
It's
there's the
crazy
Turtle.
looking.
Oh wow, look at that, huh? That had to be like that. That'd probably be with Elon Musk, the new rocket ships going to right. That was
the Tesla Model S.
yeah. Look at that. That's
Yeah,
like
so-
amazing.
So what we're looking at here is it's like an acorn shaped kind of wooden contraption with all types of like levers and pedals on the inside with a rudder in the back and kind of a propeller in the front. And there's some sort of hand crank system going on in a porthole at the top, and then some kind of propeller also at the top, I guess, that will keep it level.
No,
How do you even see where he was going?
So I think the top is the explosive like poker thing that they tried to implement. But wait, so the propeller's in the front.
And it's up in the top,
so it's
front.
pulling
and, no,
it.
it's front. It's front and top, Sean. See the one up top? There's one up top.
This John here.
Okay, yeah, that's the up and down thing.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't
I
see
figured
that.
that keeps it like level.
Yeah, the other thing I think is the poke.
So you go up
explosive
under the boat and drill into the hull.
and attempt to like.
Yeah, because look, that's got
Explosive.
so right under this drilly tippy thing at the top, it's like spiky and it looks like it's got like the groove of a screw in it. There's another hand crank under that you, I guess, rotate to drill into the hull, and that
Yeah, so it says
there's
right
gotta
here.
be some type of delivery system.
Yeah,
for the
right. Read
explosive.
here.
Also,
So
this is made out of wood too.
right.
Yeah.
So here it was helped to underwater vessel that could secretly transport a bomb to an unsuspecting British warship, dubbed the American Turtle for its appearance. The submarine made 3 attempts to blow up British ships without success. In the 1785 letter to Thomas Jefferson, George Washington wrote, Bushnell is a man of great mechanical powers, fertile in inventions, and master of execution. I then thought and still think that it was an effort of genius. What else did he say?
I feel like
That's
everything.
like okay. So here's the actual picture. It looks like a barrel that's like really bulging at the sides with a bunch of
Wow. Where would that's
implements
located at?
sticking out
I'd
of
love
it.
to go see that. Okay, it's at the Connecticut River
Connecticut.
Museum.
Yeah, if you want to go see this, you can go to the Connecticut
Wow.
River Museum. But
that's
not
not
to
even
like,
the real one. The real one never made it back on one of its last missions.
Oh, so that's a duplicate.
Yeah.
not to like get off topic of the submarines, but just the ball. First of all, the balls it would take to get inside this thing,
Right.
right? But just
Even submarines generally back in
Yeah.
World War II. But let me tell you, where they really came to these submarines, really came to age was the Civil War. In the Civil War, you had what do they call them? The Iron Horses? What were they called? They were
I know
ironclad. The Ironclad.
That wasn't a true sub. That was more like
yeah, but they
half
were
submerged. But there was
they
another
were
sub in
deadly,
the
man.
Civil War called
They were
like the
deadly.
Hurley.
They were deadly though. Here they are. What do they call them things? Look at them. Here's
Yeah,
pictures
these
of them.
things were crazy. They went like floating down the rivers, right?
Yeah, they were nasty, man. They did. They were and they were powered by steam.
Yes.
You know, steam. So they, that was.
So it's like half barge, half boat, half submarine.
Yeah.
Well, that
yeah.
would be like
Yeah, look at them. I mean, they
150%.
what do they call them though? What was the names of them?
Ironclad
Ironclads.
ships.
Ironclads.
This is really like a steamboat, essentially, but like a first metal boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So
They did have the Hurley in the Civil War, or the Hurdy,
but no turtles.
There was a Civil War submarine that I think is also hand crank, and it's just as weird as the. Look up Civil War sub probably. It's just as weird as the turtle. It's a lot bigger. It's more manpower. I think it's still a hand crank.
Oh yeah, look at this freaking thing. Wow.
What year is that now?
So here we got
This
one
is the
that's
Civil War.
This looks like
Oh
an
wow,
actual
that came
one.
out of the Civil War, really. So that was a true submarine then.
It is the Hunley.
Whoa. So we got pictures,
The
people.
Hurdy.
So people who are on,
Durky.
so people
I think it's a
who
Dune character.
people who are on our Spotify and you got to go to our Rumble or what do you call it? YouTube and look at it.
There's some neato images here.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's great stuff.
So
Wow,
I'm
look at that.
assuming, I mean, all submarine. This is what some of the greatest inventions of all time are born through like the necessity of war.
Yeah, that is a true fact.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do we use submarines for other than
Right.
war? And like
Right.
James Cameron to go to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
That's actually how they found the Titanic, was a military operation.
Really?
It was like a recovery operation, and they would just happen to find the Titanic.
All right, so let's go.
Yeah, these are.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. So let's for the people who can't see that stuff, let's talk about the submarines now. So you want to do the statistics,
So
Sean?
yeah, so the Virginia class is like the newest sub in the United States Navy's arsenal.
Right.
It has a depth of around 1,600 feet, or about over a quarter of a mile. I think the crush depth is like 2,400 feet. And there might be like a Russian sub that goes further now, but we don't obviously know everything about that.
Let me. So that's interesting. So 1,600 feet. So a mile. So it's a third of a mile.
About.
Yeah, I thought they would go deeper than that. You know, I would think that. I mean, but that's not. I mean, I guess.
This isn't like the deepest thing in the ocean that we have. This is just like a massive military.
Okay.
Like
All right, so go.
This is like
Right, go ahead.
3 school buses or something insane.
Okay, so
the
go ahead,
length of
keep
this.
going.
So what are the capabilities of this thing?
Nuclear war.
Yeah.
Which I think is the reason we started to talk about it. But
I think I said something along the lines of like it's pretty nuts that those things can just stay underwater for
25.
how long?
Well, give us the statistics. Let him finish. Go ahead. So I'm interested. Go ahead. So go ahead.
So it's powered by a nuclear reactor that can go about 40 miles per hour underwater.
That's fast,
Costs
man.
about $3.45 billion 2021 value, so that's even more now. This started in 2000. It is 377 feet, and the beam, which is like the height, is 34 feet.
Well, the beam is across, so you know it's left to right.
So it's left to right.
Yeah.
Unless the
But if it's
submarine's
round,
sideways.
it's probably up and down. Yeah. So, but when you talk about a ship, the beam is left to right, or port to starboard. Anyway.
For an Arizona class, which is like an older model, it would take less than a kilogram of uranium for a nuclear submarine to drive across the Atlantic, which is about 30,000 gallons of gasoline energy.
Yeah. Well, you know, President Carter, which was in the 70s, his background was a nuclear physicist, and he developed the engines for the
way.
Yeah.
Carter was a nuclear physicist.
the peanut farmer. He was in the Navy.
Okay.
And he was involved, again, I don't exactly know what level, but he was one of the individuals involved with the first subs, which are nuclear-powered subs. And then the nuclear power they used there, they used them to cool, they cooled it by water. See, and this is an interesting story here because we're talking about nuclear energy now. The reactors, they use to cool with water because you're dealing with water in a sub. You know, outside there's water. But the new technology today with the subs is you could with the nuclear reactors, you could use liquid metal, and to gain to make the reaction happen. Same thing with like lithium batteries and stuff. Water though is very toxic.
I thought they still use water though.
Yeah, most reactors, but you could have new technology now where you don't use water, you use liquid metal. They didn't use that in the subs because if the liquid metal touches water, it'd be explosive. But anyway, yeah, Carter, you could.
I think Carter is still like building houses. For
No, I think he's done. I think he's in hospice right now.
But that's the guy, right?
Yeah. He I think developed or was a big part of Habitat houses for Habitat.
His like late 80s. He's still like the guy on a rooftop.
Yeah,
Habitat for Humanity.
Is that Habitat for Humanity?
Did you say houses for habitats?
Yeah, whatever. So go ahead. So listen, nuclear subs. So go ahead. There's some really neat statistics here. Keep going.
So subs have a 90-day deployment, which is only limited because of the amount of food needed to feed the Navymen, the sailors.
Sailors, right? I think they're sailors.
Whoa. So 90 days, but they got to fill all that food. Why don't they get fishing poles and just go up top and do some fishing?
This is 90 days of submersion.
Catch has got jokes tonight.
I know.
Get some fishing going.
Again, this is 90. A submarine could stay 90 days underwater with the food that it has stocked from the port, which is 1,300 pounds or 1,300 pounds of beef, 500 pounds of fish, and 1,300 eggs.
I could catch 3 times that amount of pounds of fish by myself in one day. Just bring me up to the top and let me fish.
500 pounds isn't a lot, actually.
No, I could fish that, one day. They should they should make a submarine. Really,
you don't make a horrible point. I think it's not that hard to attach a fishing net to like the back of that or something. That's just constantly like
put a friggin' big thing there.
Just like a little door.
You want to talk about whales and everything? You can knock off a whale.
No, we don't do that.
Okay.
What are you talking? We're out here campaigning to save our whales, and you're suggesting that we lop their heads off to feed
So let me read some of this.
Military-industrial complex.
So nuclear engines are quieter than a school of shrimp feeding.
I don't know how loud a school of shrimp feeding is. It just
I have no idea.
It just sounds pretty cool.
Yeah,
Should I look that up?
But this is a terrible. You talk about how much balls you have. Look at this. Is this really? Where'd you get this statistic? Over 40,000 men who went to sea in German U-boats in World War II. 30,000 never returned.
Yeah, have you ever heard of the movie Das Boots?
Yes.
This is the opening image of that movie. Like this line.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it was that bad.
Well, pistol shrimps can hit 218 decibels from each claw snap.
These are super crazy shrimps. So these are huge. Have you ever seen a pistol shrimp?
I mean, the engines are quieter than that, but how loud are friggin' shrimp? They could be.
And
like,
also
they
pistol
could be,
shrimps, I'm sure, are like the loudest shrimp on earth.
These are crazy shrimps.
Listen, is the nuclear engine quieter than my Uncle Charlie, who used to eat? You could hear him 10 miles away.
Yeah.
Yo,
Thanksgiving Day table.
These are creepy looking.
Have you ever seen these?
No, I've seen the mantis one that punches, but
Say
not
that loud.
Look at this, Catch.
Yeah. All right, so let's keep going here. This is interesting.
We gotta riff off of these to make a little time go by.
Oh, we got plenty of time.
I love how we're simultaneously doing a podcast and also convincing Catchmar that it's okay to just wander off sometimes.
Yeah, no, you guys wander off. He goes down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, but
look at this thing.
Cash, if we blow through all the facts that we find every episode, we're gonna have 20-minute episodes.
You gotta remember though.
Imagine we're on the lifeguard stand and we have 4 hours to kill.
If we also gotta hit all of these facts, it's a good thing.
You gotta remember though, half the people they don't see this. It's podcast.
Well, yeah, that's how we
describe. Guys, we're looking at a really big shrimp with one really big claw. It's really funny looking.
Yeah, really.
I'm still trying to figure out how big it is.
Yeah.
All right, just humor me here. How big?
So I think nuclear engines are pretty quiet. That's the bottom line.
I used to not like shrimp.
The Russian,
eating shrimp.
Yeah,
I like coconut shrimp.
So I thought the whole concept of eating an entire organism in one bite. I was really young.
It's 3 centimeters long. That's it.
Yeah,
that's
it's
lame.
not much.
That's smaller than the shrimp we eat.
Yeah.
They had a movie where was it Red October? Wasn't that the
Hunt for Red October?
Wasn't that suburb
I told Sean
super
to watch
quiet?
that last
super
night.
quiet. Was that the deal with that? It was super quiet. The engine you couldn't hear. What was the deal about the
I never
technology?
watched that movie, but I know it's a Jack Ryan movie, which is these are super popular now. His character.
Oh, dude, Tom Clancy is
The Hunt for Red October is a Tom Clancy.
I know. You ever read Tom Clancy?
Nah.
I don't think you'd like him. Super technical. You don't like that type of shit. The
only thing that I liked that was super technical was the Tim O'Brien book, the Vietnam, the things they carried.
He'll spend like 2 pages like describing the engine on the plane that's carrying the spies
Like the
to go
specs and
take out the
everything?
Yeah, I can't
submarine.
handle that.
The specs.
Yeah.
The Tim O'Brien thing did it, but like it was intentionally laborious to read, to like talk about the weight the soldiers had while in war. So
What is what is that?
the things they carried? It's like a Vietnam book,
Okay.
and he would just like meticulously describe everything that those soldiers had on them, all like throughout the whole short stories, to like so you could feel the weight the soldiers had, like to like try and the burden of
Yeah, that's
of
a
war.
real art. If you could, discuss things, and that's what's nice about a book. You could watch a movie, but it's never the same as a novel or the book, because it could go into such depth. And
Yeah.
if you're that talented, you could paint a picture in your mind. I mean, when I read the books and then I go see the movie, whatever it's been, it's never the same.
Well,
Like
they say that they say this was Emerson said this, that essentially like a true writer or artist or poet can take something we all know and understand and describe it in ways that you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, too, is that I still am amazed when I go to a Broadway play and the illusion that they could do up there. I mean, there's no,
Yeah.
I mean, they could show you like people swimming, and, everything. Really, it's amazing. But
Yeah, that's actually a fun writing exercise I do sometimes. I told you about it. Is like take an everyday task, describe it in as much detail as possible, and then go back and edit it down.
yeah. All right, so let's go to the next thing here.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So the red light scene in Submarines.
Gosh, you're jumping though.
Yeah,
oh, you're right.
The red light scene in Submarines is to create a sense of time for the crewmen by representing.
You guys were having
night.
a little bit of a debate about this
Cash
one
doesn't
before we
believe
started
me.
rolling.
Well, I don't know. That might be, I mean, obviously you wrote, you looked it up, and it most likely is right. But I could tell you, I've been sailing across the oceans for years, and I've been, fishing and being at night. And what we do is we have red lights at night. We don't have white light because you want to have your eyes. It takes about 20 minutes to accommodate to the dark.
I'm just gonna pause. You have red lights at night.
Yeah, no, we have inside our cabin. We have red lights
Isn't that what
at
you
night,
said?
though. But I'll tell you
Yeah.
why. Not to simulate night.
Well,
They're
'cause you're
saying
already in night.
Well,
right.
Well, in the submarine, they don't have any natural light at all.
Right.
So the whole point of it being, I'll take you. The reason they chose red is because of the visibility factor. But they like during nighttime, quote unquote, the lights in the boat in the sub switch to red
To
they
imitate,
know
right.
about what time.
So
it
we're
is.
talking about different things,
right,
like
but
different utilizations of red light.
Right. But I can tell you from my perspective, you have the red light, so you could see, things around. Now your instruments, you could key them down, because they put a lot of light out, but you don't want to hurt your eyes, because once you put a bright light on, you can't see for a while. And but also the maps you have. I mean, a lot of people don't have maps anymore. They rely on GPS, but you really want to have hard maps in case your electronics goes out. But they are made with certain colors and chemicals where the red light makes them really bright, illuminates them. So that's where red lights come, from regular sailor's position. Excuse me, I got a cough here. Go ahead.
The next little tidbit that I found was there's 2 types of sonar, passive and active.
Yes, sorry about that.
Active makes noise and is what affects marine life. And so I wonder if there's a way to try and hear the boats that they're surveying, because the active sonar it makes noise. So when you hear that ping, that's the sonar like hits an object, absorbs it, and then bounces off and all the angles that object has. And by that, they found a way to make sonar work.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know. This is something new to me. I didn't know. I thought all sonar was based on the same thing. It sends a sound wave into the water or air, and it comes back. So I don't know what the difference is.
Passive sonar is just much quieter, but that's the reason that we don't believe it affects whales.
Does it work the same way?
Yeah.
But I don't understand what how it's different. I don't understand passive and active. I don't understand the words. But
So sonar works through vibration. Sound is the one that we can hear, but vibration in general, like it can just happen. All things are vibrating.
well, when I do an ultrasound, when you do an ultrasound in a doctor's office, what's vibrating in there is a diamond crystal, and that's what most of them are diamonds. And maybe they got new technology now.
Oh, no. Well, all right, here's the difference. Active sonar, I'm sending out a sound wave and receiving that signal back.
Yes.
Passive sonar is that I'm just listening for sound coming.
Ah, okay.
and creating a picture based on that.
Okay. Oh, okay.
There's the difference.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So
okay. Good job. Good job, Tyler.
Thank you.
We can-
I'm the team Googler.
Now you know, yes, that's great. I like that. So that's interesting. So go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry.
Oh, I want to hear about this next point.
So actually, they actually link. There was only one submarine sub on sub battle to have ever happened, and it was involved killing Nazis, which I hope we can all get around.
Yeah, killing Nazis. Let's go kill some Nazis.
Well,
that's one thing you could
even
do.
that's controversial to say.
Oh, you
these
can't
days.
say that
Remember the
anymore?
Punch the Nazi thing.
No,
You can't
what's
say
that?
kill Nazis
No,
anymore.
wasn't there like a couple years ago? Like, see, this is how much like wild.
No. I think that's the
nonsense-
only thing you could do on social
there was
media.
there was people on the left saying like punch Nazis. Or,
No.
or
I don't
something.
know if there is
know.
any
You
Nazis,
can't
but
punch Nazis that you should.
I mean, like, I don't advocate
no,
walking up to
you
people
can't
on the
be
street and
nice.
punching
Listen,
them.
you
but,
can't
like,
be. Listen, Tyler. Let's be political. You cannot be nice to Nazis. I would not
I agree.
advocate.
Don't be nice.
I
Don't
would
be
not
nice to Nazis.
listen,
but don't
if
go
you-
up and punch anybody.
If you asked my uncle who fought when my dad in World War II, and you said, let's be nice to Nazis,
I'm gonna look this up right now.
I
Hold on.
don't think they would have been too happy.
It was like a crazy.
That's
lesson,
probably-
but it's not crazy.
listen, that's probably
there
the
you
only
go,
thing-
The punch a Nazi
Is-
meme. What are the ethics?
Oh, that's terrible.
Like, should you punch a Nazi?
What are
Is
the
that-
ethics
Oh,
of punching
man.
Nazis?
Yeah, but you don't want to say Trump. See that? But that's where they get all of that.
And
Anyway.
I don't want to like come off as like some sort of Nazi sympathizer here.
All
Like,
right,
that's
listen. Let's get off this topic
you
because
know.
we could get like
we gotta-
arrested and thrown in jail.
We got to stay
I
on the
don't know.
Nazi thing.
You
So-
better, in case this country ever goes to Nazis and they'll dig this up 20 years from now, and you're like, hey, you guys were, anti.
like-
I ain't worried about that at
yeah.
all. Yeah.
You know what? Punch the Nazis.
But-
I'll punch it
Just
out.
All right, come on, let's go.
punch
So
them.
go. So there was only one sub. So there was because there's movies that I've watched where I think the Hunt for Red October, that was a sub to sub battle.
Yeah, there's a Tom Clancy book.
Right, but all the ones that I've ever seen. There's one movie called The Enemy Below. It was a destroyer, going after the sub. So that's kind of where you see the destroyers dropping the
I
death
forget,
charges.
but that might have been based off of this situation.
So there's only one. So the history.
It was a British submarine found a Nazi sub, and the captain of the British sub was pretty smart. They were using passive sonar. They heard the Nazi submarine coming in, and they fired 4 torpedoes, like 1, 2, 3, to direct the Nazi sub where to go. So the Nazis avoided the 3, and when they were turning to get away and to round off to find the British one, that's when the 4th torpedo hit them on the side and broke the whole submarine in half. It was a pretty cool strategic play from like World War II tactics and technology, but it's the only time that submarines ever battled on Earth in reality.
Well, I'll tell you what. If we have a nuclear war, right? I'm not kidding around, and like everything was destroyed on land, probably what would be survived will be these nuclear subs. And if you could go 25 years with a nuclear sub, you run out of food eventually. But if you could get where there's no radiation, you could come up.
Cash, no one knows what you're talking about. We didn't read that fact yet.
No, I'm just saying. Well, no, but we just told me you could stay under nuclear 90 days. So go
Yeah. We know a United Kingdom's sub could stay underwater for 25 years. Supposedly, no one's ever done it. It's never happened. So if people didn't need to eat on the sub for 90 days, a sub could be operational for 25 years with about a kilogram of uranium.
Yo, imagine if there's one just like floating out there that's just unaccounted for, just
Fishing, like that's how they're like
So
surviving.
there's a
something.
movie. There's
or
a
no, they're
movie.
just full of dead bodies.
Right. Well,
Or would the core melt down eventually? Did you look into that at all?
I don't know how nuclear.
no, it
engines
probably
work
probably
out.
shut down. But here's the interest. There's a movie, and talk about another movie. There's a movie called On the Beach, and it talks. And what it is the whole world was destroyed by nuclear war. There's radiation, and the radiation now is creeping to complete its complete circular. What is it? Circumference around the whole world. There's a sub, and some people left in New Zealand or Australia, I forget. And it's the sub, and it's a famous actor is the captain, and the whole movie's about what happened, and they all die eventually because of radiation. But it's interesting. What the premise is that they had this land and then the sub. So what was left was a sub. So if you think about it, that's if we do have nuclear war, Armageddon. People go in caves and stuff like that, but a lot of subs will probably still be left unless they got knocked out.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. So go ahead. So what is this? $5 foot long facts.
I don't know if you were supposed to read that part.
So
I
go ahead.
thought you would read that.
So go ahead.
I giggled at it before.
So go ahead. Is this yours? So
These facts are just a little bit longer, so
ahead,
I came up
go
with a
ahead.
new name. The Ohio
Oh, I
class,
get it because they're long facts. Okay.
the Ohio class U.S. submarine has 12 operational. There's 12 operational submarines. There's 12 Ohio class submarines. There's with 20 launch tubes. Each have 4 warheads per missile. These boats then can roughly carry 960 nuclear warheads.
Each boat?
Total if in the water at any given time. However, there's usually only 8 to 10 in the water at a given time. So it's really like 720 nuclear warheads can be fired from the Ohio class fleet.
So from anywhere in the world at any time.
We can just
yes.
720 nuclear.
Well, they have a
warheads.
certain distance. They may from a sub. They're not going to be inter ballistic.
Yeah, but these are the ones that are near our enemies.
Right. They may have.
Like you best believe we got one of those in Russian waters.
Oh yeah, and they got them here.
Yeah.
And in fact, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, there were subs off our coast. They may have.
Weren't they there during World War II?
Yeah, they were all over. But these probably had. But you didn't have nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
World
They
War
were just
II.
like surveillance.
They weren't. No, there was no no nuclear subs, no nuclear weapons.
So they were like just doing spy shit, right?
No, they had submarine. Well, yeah, they were torpedoing and knocking down ships. There was off of Barnegat Inlet, there was ships torpedoed. But getting back with with this, you got to remember they're shorter duration distance. But these are not atom bombs the ones that were dropped on here. These are nuclear. These are hydrogen bombs
Bigger.
with 1,000 times more powerful. So one submarine off the coast of New Jersey could basically have 720 hydrogen bombs. They would just incinerate. There would be nothing left. And then, of course, then you got the ICB coming over, which have 40 warheads. 10 are active, 30 are dummy. So each one of those is 10 coming over. Think about that. So go ahead.
And just also, this is the Ohio class sub. So this is the outdated knowledge. This is just like what we released to the to like open information.
Wow.
And we don't even know. Like there could be more. I don't know how the subs work, but there could be more armed everywhere. It's pretty crazy that like how much we've prepared for war, and hopefully no one wants it. But like we're just so ready to blow up this planet at any time.
So
It's
this
weird. It's a bit weird.
If you're, when you're looking it up, it gets really strange.
Well, it gets what it gets. It gets real.
Yeah.
It gets real. And the thing is, if you really think about it, we talk about Ukraine and the war going on, and people talk about let's just send jets over there and democracy and all of this. But you're dealing with the country. I think Russia, the last time I read, has about 1,700 nuclear warheads. Now I don't know if that's all submarine or just land based. We have probably the same. Israel has a ton, North Korea, on and on and on.
Yeah, I think Israel has like surprisingly more nukes than like Russia or China. Like last time I saw a fact on it, it was like they're number 3 in terms of nuclear warheads, which is crazy.
Well, I can tell you right now, and again we talk out of my hat, but I can tell you, Israel is never ever.
No, they're ready to. They'll blow up the planet.
They will not. Yeah, and I don't blame them because what they went through. They're never gonna get on their knees again. Never ever. You'll have to destroy them. But when you look at stuff like this is scary. And how do you knock out these subs? I would imagine we have technology to find these and knock them out. But still, boy, whew. I didn't know. I tell you what, you just taught me something really. I didn't know that they had that many nuclear warheads on a ship.
It's not 700 per ship. It's 700.
Oh, so let's go. Let me hit. So where was that? So right here. So you said that they have Operation Sub has 20 launch tubes with 4 warheads per missile. So 4 times 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 80 missiles.
80 per sub.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's a.
80 nukes per sub is.
I mean, if you
crazy.
drop 80 nukes on the United States, one submarine, and I don't know what the distance is. They may not be able to go 1,000 feet, 1,000 miles.
At least the Northeast.
So say 500. Yeah, say 500. I don't know. That's still an awesome. I didn't know that was that much power. I thought they had maybe 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. They were ready to fire one at whatever.
So go to this next one. This is really interesting. This next one, I think that's pretty wild.
So during the Cold War, New Zealand was supplying the USSR. Cash. What does the USSR stand for?
Not United States. It's USSR, Soviet.
United Soviet States of Russia.
Russia, yeah. Right.
Good one. I don't know.
That was like a guess by me.
I just know the United.
Look it up. Google it real quick.
Yeah.
So you know what? I know. I mean,
check
we've
us.
always used the. I know it's Russia, and it was Russia before it collapsed. USSR, United. It's not United States.
Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.
Union of
We
Soviet
were
Socialists.
so off.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
all the Balkan states and everything was also.
Russian. Yeah, that was before it broke up.
And
And stop there. Stop. You know, this is interesting because look at this. What? No, it's all right. They don't have to worry about it. I was going to say, you know, what it belonged to. Let's go again. So keep on with that.
So New Zealand was supplying the Soviets with dairy products, and by 1933, the Soviets owed them $100 million in dairy products, which is crazy. That's a lot of milk. The Soviets had no money and offered a pair of fighter jets and one nuclear submarine. And since New Zealand is anti-nukes and anti-war, they said no, and they kept their money.
were they neutral? Why were they supplying? You know, I thought that during the Cold War, the West were at war, so I guess they were still
I
friendly
mean,
with them.
we're technically neutral right now with Poland or with Ukraine, aren't we?
Well, no, you're talking about Russia.
Yeah, both.
Yeah. So okay, well that's interesting. So I keep going. So what's the?
So this is just a weird one. The cookie cutter shark has been the greatest adversary to nuclear submarines since like the 1970s. Several U.S. Navy subs were forced back to base for repairs caused by cookie cutter shark bites to the neoprene boots of the sonar domes that they use to scan the water, which cause a sound transmitting oil inside to leak and impair navigation.
What can you pull up? Show me what
So
a cookie. I never heard of
Cookie
those
cutter
sharks.
sharks are named after the round holes they cause.
Oh, we could look into this creepy animal, but not the mantis shrimp.
Well, this is more important. We want to see what this looks
More
like
important.
real quick. I want to see what it looks like.
They're the length of about 3 pencils. They're really small.
That's it.
Yeah, they're really small. I
That's
actually
cute
think
guy.
I know someone that was bit by one of these when he was on vacation one time.
Whoa!
and he
Look at the
kept it-
teeth on those things.
And he kept what?
He kept the shark because it's so small. He kept it in like a that liquid.
Whoa!
Yeah, I would formaldehyde.
Yeah, I think he kept it. He like held it out of the water because it's so easy to hold. It's 3 pencils in length. It's very small.
Wow! So they're nasty.
Yeah, look at
they're
it. Look at this
nasty.
bite mark.
Wow,
Yeah.
they're little nasty things.
So I'm assuming it would just prod at the boats trying to find food, and like that was just a soft part of the hull, and
Oh my god.
they had to make that stronger to fend off from cookie cutter sharks, which are little tiny guys.
Wow.
Here's a seal.
Yeah, they all
This
get
might-
bit.
this
So
might
they're
get
pretty
us,
nasty. I never
That
heard
is a
of that.
gross cut.
What
Yeah.
cookie cutter? Because when they bite, it looks like they
Yeah.
took a piece to make a
Look at their
cookie.
teeth.
Ooh.
Where are they from?
So why don't we come up with an invention, Sean's, to get rid of cookie cutter sharks?
No,
from
they
it?
did this.
They
This is
they
the
live in the
70s.
warm, deep waters of equatorial oceans, primarily in coastal waters near islands. They inhabit deep waters below 1,000 meters during the day and migrate into surface waters at night at around 300 meters. They have been found in depths of up to 3,500 meters.
Wow.
Cash, why do you think lakes have all the same fish?
Well, there's
And
no
that they're not connected.
right. Oh, what do you mean? Say it again. Oh,
Like lakes have bass. Why do all lakes have bass? And why do all lakes have striped
Oh.
bass?
well, I'm very sure at one time they were all connected. You know, and like the.
Don't you think they would have evolved into other types of bass?
Well, it depends how long. I think.
I don't have the answer for this.
No, well, I would say this if
You're just
you know.
speculating.
No, but I would tell you that at one time it was all connected, and or they migrated somehow. You know, but they could have been flooding at one time, and then the lakes get together. You have flooding the streams, so they had to communicate somehow. You're not gonna. It's very rare. They are though. I think if I remember correctly, there are some species that they thought evolved. Not connected, but kind of like parallel. So, but I would think that there was some kind of connection somewhere along the line.
You don't think
I heard something interesting the other day about, like they were talking about how somewhere in the world, like we noticed a monkey like pick up a tool, and then all of a sudden, like in other parts of the world, we noticed the same thing among like monkeys, right? And some people were throwing it up to this weird kind of groupthink that we don't really understand, but others are saying it's more likely that this is just the timeline. Like we saw the first one pop up, now these other ones are starting to pop up because that's just the timer's up on that next stage of evolution. So the point is, like with these fish, maybe that's just the best type of fish
For
that
that
can
environment.
evolve on Earth for that environment,
Yeah.
and that's just the blueprint for that.
Yeah, they might not need to evolve further
Yeah.
because they're already sufficient in the ecosystem.
Yeah, like there's only,
Well, listen, that's when you talk about fish generally, you're going to have fins. They're going to have scales, but there's certain genetic properties that will be genetically embedded in those for the environment in that specific environment.
exactly. And every
good question,
every
though,
evolution is informed by the environment that it takes place in.
Right. I mean, I would definitely say that if they don't have, there are isolated places in the world that have only species that are there. They never.
They probably never needed to evolve.
No.
The monkey thing is weird though. I wonder if that, just like all like the knowledge they were downloading over time.
Well, here's the thing.
It's like if just like you played Pokemon when you were a kid,
Well, you could take
if you gave every kid in the world the same Pokemon game at the same time and they started playing it at the same time, there's gonna be a first person to get the Thunderstone and evolve their Pikachu.
Yeah.
But eventually, a lot more are gonna be finding that out a lot more frequently. So
what's the first
you
kid
just
does
said
it?
that you said war, right, makes things develop. Same thing, I mean, somebody, the cavemen were running around. Somebody had to pick up the first stick to defend themselves and a rock, and then you get the stick you develop into a spear. And,
exactly.
So there was mother
or
invention,
fire.
and that could happen. That could happen at different times, at different places in the world. Because, but there are studies, and you really want to get to it. And I remember doing this in college. They knew it at that time. There was a time where the world back in the 70s and 80s and 90s where you had to be able to do DNA testing, and they went around the whole world and tested people to see where their common genes were, and then they also cross-referenced that with migration routes that they knew back in the day, and they basically they say that human beings basically developed, didn't pop up all around the world. They started in Africa and in that valley, and they migrated, and they could show the migration. But they also intermingled with Neanderthal. Is that how you pronounce it?
Neanderthal.
Yeah, and we actually have certain genetic. We have maybe 3% of that. So you could see the migration. But as far as tools and all of that, yeah, I mean, you would think that there's common necessity. Cook food and you have winters and you want to preserve food. Well, what's a good way to preserve food? Like wheat, make bread, or alcohol.
Yeah, so like I said,
alcohol is a good way. Yeah.
Essentially, the argument is that it's more likely that when let's say the first guy that discovered fire, it's more likely that other people just figured that out around the same time, as opposed to him going from door to door and saying, this is how you make fire. And that's how that knowledge spread.
Yeah.
People just started figuring it out.
Yeah. I mean, you could go on and on, but it's interesting though. But anyway, I just think that go back to this shark. It's funny that you have this $3 billion ship, and they didn't think about. They never thought, nobody, all the engineers, all the smart guys that are sitting there, nobody had the idea, hey, you know what, can this be vulnerable to some fish?
Yeah, maybe we should make it out of wetsuit material.
Yeah, but it's and this is what I love about life. You have the smartest. I mean, think about the tragic space shuttles that crashed. You had the smartest and the brightest people, and they still, you still have accidents. I mean, and it wasn't. You can't really say it was. I mean, it was just that we don't have the capacity sometimes to foresee things that could happen in the future.
I heard that we're going back to the moon. Did you hear about this?
Oh yeah.
Do we believe that we're going to the moon?
Oh yeah. They the Chinese are going there. I think they might even be there already. I don't know. But we're going. Yeah. There's a lot of minerals. They want to. You know what they want to do? They want to stage.
They want to mine the moon.
No, what you want to do though is you want to go to Mars, right? They want to go to Mars, and if you want to go to Mars, it's really hard to just blast off from Earth and go right to Mars. What you want to do is set up a place in the moon,
a layover,
and have develop. There's water on the moon. I think there's ice there. But you want to have a situation where you have like a factory. So you go there, people live in there.
It's not
you
close,
staging,
but it's
staging.
closer.
Well, the thing is, it's you're off the gravity. The biggest hump for space is the energy to break our gravitational field. That takes a ton of energy, a ton. And so if you could get it, start on the moon, and then make stuff there. You don't have to carry it there, like water, or if you can make fuel, right, and food and all of that. Then you could stage from there, and it's not that hard to get the moon. Moon doesn't have that much, is not as much gravity.
I personally think that's a terrible idea.
Why?
Look at all the craters on the moon.
What? I don't get you.
It's just going to be getting peppered with asteroids.
Nah,
There's
that's
not enough
old.
atmosphere on the
Nah,
moon.
that-
to-
that's old.
Those are from the original
that's old.
craterings happening and no atmosphere to change the geology.
Well, you make a good point.
Think about how many meteorites a year burn up in the Earth's atmosphere. I'm going to look this up right
Oh,
now.
I
How
understand
many-
what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. But I think this is what they're.
You can just look up how many meters hit the moon every year.
That's what I'm looking.
Um,
Let's go every day. 100 ping pong ball sized meteors hit the moon every day. 33,000 a year. A ping pong sized meteorite is that's dangerous.
Yeah.
That's gonna it'll be such a pain in the ass.
yeah.
You can't
Well-
have some sort of system that's going to detect every single one of those and
Well, maybe listen. This is
snuff
what
them
they're.
out.
we need shields.
It's a
This-
giant
yeah, they have
net,
shields,
a
right,
giant
right.
net above the moon.
There's
thing.
another way. Listen,
That's mining.
there's another job for you, man. Invent a shield. Invent the thing that gets rid of these cookie cutter sharks, and then invent something that gets rid of these ping pong balls. Listen, I'm just telling you. I'm regurgitating what Elon Musk and the people are talking about. That's what they want to go to the moon. It's going to be a staging.
You and me both.
I mean, I
man.
can't. Listen. I'm more worried about us dying of World War III here. I can't think about the moon and
That's
the
what I'm saying.
Mars.
Stop looking over the fence. We don't need to know if we're gonna die.
Okay,
Just
all
might
right.
happen.
What's the next one here? So you
I
guys
just got back from Florida.
All right. So this is the one I
So
want to hear.
I
About.
mean, we can chat a little bit about it. So we went to Coconut Grove, which is like just inland of Miami Beach.
I've been there.
Crazy beautiful. We went to a wedding at like this Spanish villa. It was insane.
Coconut
You
Grove
ju-
is
you
really
walk-
nice. You did little restaurants on the streets.
Like you walked into this place like an arched door, this like big fountain in the middle of this giant foyer with vines growing up the walls everywhere. It was incredible.
Was there a lot of gunshots? Did you hear a lot?
I
Seriously.
didn't hear a single gunshot.
So let me tell you. I'll give you my story about Coconut Grove real quick. My buddy of mine, he's a plastic surgeon. He had a house in Miami and South Beach. It's one of those Mirando Grands, one of the big towers, and he was going to do a triathlon, and a whole bunch of us going down. And I was going to do the 5 miles, so you could do a 5 mile. So I wasn't going to do the whole thing. And that night, and the race starts like really early in the morning, 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, I forget, because it's a long day. You got to run a long day, and they happened to have a shooting that day, that morning. Right, and they said 4 people got shot and killed in Coconut Grove. Now I didn't know where the running was going to be, and I don't, to hear about this shooting. Anyway, you know how they have it where in the movies, they put the yellow line and then they put the chalk marks with the bodies, like the chalk mark. I'm not making this up. We're running and we come across the yellow line. You see it's towards the end of the race, and actually they had the bodies are gone, but they had the chalk marks on the ground. I was like, whoa. But that was my experience with Coconut Grove. But it's beautiful. I was the last time I was there, I flew into Miami. We were going to sail. I was going to fly from Miami to Grenada, and we had a stopover, and went to Ocean Grove, and we had it's beautiful.
Coconut Grove.
Coconut Grove.
Bohemian.
No, it was.
So go ahead. So it was nice,
absolutely
it was
gorgeous.
beautiful.
The wedding was gorgeous. We had an amazing time.
Miami's a sick place.
Mojitos by the pool. We did the whole thing, But on the day after the wedding, so this was Monday, we wanted to go to the beach, so we went to Key Biscayne. So you asked me earlier if I got in touch with Jerry Faulkner, who is
I stole
is a
something from him.
lieutenant.
I thought.
He's a lieutenant.
Wait. Where you went? That's an island off of.
Yes, it's
I thought that's private. You couldn't go there.
there's a park. It's called Crandon Park.
You got to
So
take.
there's-
Did you have to
there's a
take a? You got to
village,
take a ferry
But
over to it.
No. There's a bridge. You can drive right up.
Okay, so I thought that.
So it's the island of Key Biscayne. It's like the northernmost barrier
because
island.
because a lot of celebrities have houses there. I thought it was a gated community.
yeah,
You
I
can't even
think-
get close to that.
There are certain places like I think you're thinking of like Palm Island right before Miami
Okay.
on Biscayne Bay. Key Biscayne is
It might be-
imagine.
yeah, I don't know.
Imagine.
I know Oprah Winfrey and all celebrities have places there. I thought
Imagine Island Beach Park,
Yeah.
but like miles and miles
Yeah.
wide and just palm trees everywhere.
It was nice.
Yeah, this place was absolutely incredible. So so I didn't go to Miami Beach to go to the beach. So I didn't reach out to Jerry because I knew I wasn't going to be down there. But after we went, rented a kayak, and then on our way back, I decided to stop at one of the guard stands, ask him for a picture and chat a little bit. And they actually knew Jerry, these guys.
Right.
But they were super great. A lot of the guys that work there are from Cuba. So I was chatting with them, asked them for a photo. They let me come up, check out their little guard tower. He called me Gringo. It was funny. But he actually let me go into the guard tower and check it out. And it is like so cool. So there was a senior guard there who had been working, like, he said he did 19 years on Miami Beach, I think. And then this was his first summer working on Key Biscayne. Their ocean rescue is part of the fire department, the Miami-Dade Fire Department. But they let me go into the tower, and it was just super cool. So every tower, there's, I think, 11 of them on Key Biscayne. There could be more, maybe even 30. I'm misremembering the number, but there's a bunch. But every tower is like its own little headquarters. So you walk in, on the back wall, they have like, pictures, tide charts. He had a can hanging up. There's like some stickers and stuff. He had it personalized a little bit. And then you turn around, there's a little platform you step up on, and like 2 wooden captain's chairs that you just sit in there and you watch. But it's way different from what we do. There's no surf to move swimmers in and out of. There's no rip currents. Like, it's just sandbar for like 500 yards and then a break way out there. If you want to surf, you are paddling absolutely all day.
Cash, if like a lot around Miami is just dredged and man-made at this point? Because I was there too not too long ago, and it is weird. It's like there's nothing. It's just flat water. It's clean.
I mean, we took these kayaks like 200 yards out there, and we're wading around in ankle deep water.
No, well, if you remember when we had Jerry, who's one of the lieutenant. No, Jerry. No, he's higher ranked than that. I mean, he's like the second command of Miami. No,
I think we talked to him.
I forget
He's
what
a very prestigious person.
I forget his rank, but let's put it this way: when we talked to him, he was telling me that they have sandbars, they have runs. It's not all the time. It's the real question is, when do they have bad water and how often? We have calm days. If you come to our beach, there's days where it's like a lake and you don't even need lifeguards. There's other days where it's horrendous, especially when you get northeast storms or hurricanes for that matter. So I imagine it's the same down there. There's a lot of time it's real calm. A lot of the beaches, like in the Caribbean that I've gone to, you still get runs, but everything is predictable and the same. Because the ground, there's some sand, but it's mostly coral, and even if there's mostly sand, it's still hard. It's not moving too much. You don't get like the sand. You don't get the change. Now I don't know what the tidal change in Florida is, but the closer you get to the equator on the Atlantic side, you get less tidal change because the way the Earth is. So in British Virgin Islands and like in Puerto Rico, you got about maybe a foot, if that. Tidal change. What do we have in Seaside? 6 foot, 7 foot every 6 hours?
Yeah, I'd say about.
That's tremendous. I mean, think about it. That's huge. Maybe even 10 foot on a bit. So they don't get much tidal change, and also the ground don't move too much. But what changes is the surf. So when you get surf, you're going to get some stuff going on.
You know what we should, not to interrupt.
Okay.
We should do a show on how moon phases affect people, because we swear that the moon makes people crazy sometimes.
It's a full moon right now.
If it's a full moon, we know, and it's a Sunday, it's a full moon, it's like a hot day. We know that the day is going to be crazy.
Well, that's like in Avatar, The Last Airbender, not the one about the whales.
Right. But you'll get
the water benders during a full moon.
Stronger.
They can blood bend. They can pull on the blood in your body and make you do stuff.
Well, from a practical standpoint, you have a lower low tide and a higher high tide with full moon.
It makes sense to me. Like, I don't want to get too into
gravity. It's the gravity.
It makes sense that it would be pulling on you, polarity.
Yeah. Well, maybe I remember doing studies when I was in medical school. I mean, they did, because this is always, it's a full moon, and it's always the ERs are busier, and it seems like people are crazy. And then they say, oh no, there's no merit to it. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where they say pheromones don't exist, but like I don't believe that either.
You know, remember when they used
Pheromones absolutely exist.
you,
Yeah, I know.
You remember when they used to
Well,
talk?
for people, they say for people, pheromones don't exist. For animals, they like.
Isn't it weird how we've just decided we're separate from all that?
Yeah.
Like that stuff doesn't apply to us.
No, it probably does. But there was a lot of studies. There's one we used to be with postal. They say don't go postal. It used to be like back in the day. There used to be, now we have mass shootings. Well, we had mass shootings back, many years ago, but it was postal people going crazy.
Yeah, it was about like the just like constantly doing the same thing.
And they said it was no
Putting the letters in the box.
Yeah, they said they used to snap, but then they did studies and they said nah, it wasn't anything more. So who the heck knows? But anyway, so you were down there and
it was really cool because we've been doing this show for it'll be 2 years in September, right?
Sheesh.
And we've talked to so many lifeguards from so many different beaches, and this was the first time I've got to go somewhere really different than the Jersey Shore and kind of see how they operate. And I was just really grateful they let me walk up there and check their stuff out. I was surprised they didn't call me a kook and tell me to piss off.
No, I tell you what, I've been around different places, and any place I ever gone and introduced myself, they treat you like treated me like gold.
Yeah,
San Diego. I was in a lot of places, but let me make a point about our perspective about lifeguarding. We have a sandy beach, we have a high tide, 6 to 10 foot. We have big ocean sometimes. Our water's cold sometimes. And we have a inner city crowd. And there's a lot of beaches like that. I mean, I think, but then you have like Australia. They got huge surf. I mean, our surf, when we get some big surf, maybe 3 to 5. That's a tough surf for us. There's beaches that have that. That's all time. And even bigger. Maybe 5 to 10. Back and forth. Then you have these places like Florida where, a lot of it is boat stuff. There's a lot of things going on where they got to deal with boat traffic and boat rescues. I mean, L.A. County, you got cliff rescues. So, I mean, it's so many different things out there and every different environment. So lifeguards in different areas got to be really, diverse and have different things. I mean, we don't have cliffs. We don't have to be proficient in cliff diving, And but how many boat rescues? I'm talking about outside the boat, and we don't have to deal with sharks. Really, we don't. There's places that sharks are routine.
So when we were paddling the kayaks,
right?
It's like I said, it's like knee ankle deep for 100+ yards, but some areas it's like pristine white sand right under the water and crystal clear. But then next thing you know, it's just like this seaweed grass.
Yeah.
Kind of. And like when you go over that, it's dark. You don't know how deep it is. You're just like waiting for something to pop up. I found a conch
shell. Yeah, they're all
conch.
over.
Found a couple of those. They were cool. They like you put them. Had them in our kayak in like a puddle of water. Yeah. And then you would pull it up, and it would be like suction to the bottom, and it would stretch up, and then like back into itself.
The animal, the snail, whatever is inside.
It's like a snail, but
it's a conch shell.
They make fritters out of them.
Yeah,
we actually had the night before we had actually eaten conch fritters.
They're all over the place. They're even up here, even. And again, they had a little bit of a run. But they let people out there surfing, and even bigger than that. I mean, there's some days where it's double head high. So you get some big ocean places, and you can see the lifeguards. I mean, I think if they came to our beach and they saw, 3-foot swells, they would be like laughing. They wouldn't even, probably go out in that. But we have different clientele also. So anyway, there's all kinds of wildlife. What's bad down there is sea urchins. People step on them. That's bad.
I was worried about that, but I didn't come across any of those. I don't know if they're like kind of local to where I was. But yeah, I did a little research on the history of Key Biscayne, which is where we were.
Oh yeah, see right here.
Just a couple interesting facts. It was occupied by the Tequesta Indians of the Calusa Nation who fished and hunted in the area. It actually became, when Florida became a territory of the United States in 1821, a woman named Mary Ann Davis of St. Augustine purchased the entire island of Key Biscayne for $100 and then later sold 3 acres of it for $225.
Made some profit. There you go.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you for for 2 cents you could buy, probably a cow or something, I don't know
right.
how much.
I love all the French names Biscayne, Santa Marta.
How do you pronounce that? Ponce de Leon.
Ponce de Leon.
Juan Ponce de Leon.
Yeah,
Well,
probably.
Well, remember this. You had Columbus. You know, hitting the first time he came over, he hit what was thought to be
India.
No. Yeah,
Oh,
India.
he
But the
hit,
island was, I think, Haiti or the Dominican Republic, that area. Then the second time he came towards Tortola in that way. But before that, you had people coming up around South Africa, up into California, and but then Florida. The west coast of Florida was hit. I'm trying to think when the first people went to west coast of Florida. Do you remember? Because when Columbus came up, I think what they did is they hit Florida first, and they kept going up. I don't know when they finally came up to New Jersey and New England.
Idea.
Anyway, so guys, what's the history? So give us what else did you find out?
Actually, Richard Nixon had his winter White House there.
Really?
And, yeah, he even hit out there during the Watergate scandal.
I didn't know that.
That location was a site of a famous meeting between him and JFK. It was funny. The second I saw his winter White House, I thought of Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah,
right? Isn't that's in Florida, right?
I have no idea where Mar-a-Lago is.
Mar-a-Lago's in West Palm.
Where's your boys' place?
West Palm Beach. West Palm Beach.
Where's your boys?
Where's Palm Beach?
In Florida, West Coast.
No. Oh, okay.
Fort Lauderdale. You got. I think it's you of course you got Miami. Then you go up to Fort Lauderdale, and then I think you have West Palm Beach and Palm Beach.
Oh, that's the right coast.
Yeah, the East Coast.
Okay.
Yes, yes, all on the East Coast.
Yeah, and there's also a whole bunch of legends about pirates and stuff. That's like a lot of pirate movies and stuff were filmed in that area. The one that stood out to me was the legend of a pirate named Black Caesar, who was an escaped Haitian slave who was said to have stashed upwards of $6 million worth of treasure in the area.
Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was also like just in general, there was a lot of pirate activity there just because the way all these barrier islands are set up just provided crazy amounts of cover for them to hide out and then, kind of attack the Spanish shipping vessels as they were shipping whatever back up and over.
Right. Well, South America, I mean, that's where they would bring all the gold, and they would. I think they would come up to Florida and bang a right, go back. But Sanibel and Captiva Island, we talked about this. So where the storm hit, right? So on the west coast, right, you have Fort Lauderdale, and then I think below that you have somewhere along there is Sanibel Island that got hit by this last storm, and Captiva Island. So look up while we're talking. Look up Captiva Island. So Captiva Island was named for this this pirate's exploits. His name was Caspar, I think, pirate Caspar.
Oh yeah, I remember we talked.
So look
about
at
this.
so look at it, and he used to capture. He'd get these ships, and what he did is he would grab the women on the ship because they've been transporting. They might be famous people, and he would put them on his island and hold them hostage or captive, and he would have them for ransom.
Sanibel's pirate.
So let's see. What's the name of the pirate?
Florida is said to have more sunken treasure than anywhere else in the world. This is from Legends of Sanibel's Pirate Past.
Yeah, so
conflicting accounts of pirate legends are surrounded in mystery, leaving many unanswered questions and speculations about our state's pirate past, particularly in Sanibel. So look at that. Henry Caesar, known as Black Caesar, turned to piracy in 1805 during the slave revolt in Haiti. After hijacking a ship, Caesar and a squad of savage slaves began raiding trade ships in the Spanish Main. After the war in 1812, British warships began patrolling the waters close to Cuba and the Bahamas. Caesar was forced to push his pirate pack north to the Gulf of Mexico. Some historians say Caesar has between $2 and $6 million of treasure stashed on Pine Island.
Now
there's actually conflicting stories about this Black Caesar guy.
Yeah, but go down because I want. Here's what before you don't keep do the next paragraph here because while in Florida, Caesar palled up with Jose Caspar, best known as, pronounce that?
Gasparita.
Casparita.
Gaspar was a rebel from an aristocratic upbringing. At the age of 12, he kidnapped a young girl for ransom. He was given two choices, jail or sail with the Royal Spanish Navy. He chose the sea. After being accused of stealing royal crown jewels by his jilted lover, the daughter of the king. He fled to Spain for good.
So keep going here.
In
So
1780
Wait, Gasparilla is like the biggest
Right.
drinking event in Florida.
became
Really?
commander of the. You got to keep reading.
In 1783, Gaspar became commander of the Florida Blanca and vowed to attack any ship flying a Spanish flag. During his 38-year rampage,
Which is
he
long for a
attacked
pirate.
and plundered over 400 ships. But revenge on Spain was not
Keep
the
going.
only item on Gaspar's agenda. He also abducted many women and kept them as his personal concubine. Look at his
Keep
face
going,
because
keep going.
he's being proved right now.
Keep going. Keep going.
The
Keep going.
captured women were held at the Isle de los Captivas, or Captiva Island, which is said to be how the island got its name.
There you go. Now, if you were going to be a pirate, right? Us.
Yeah.
And I was, me.
Oh, wait, listen to this.
Wait. Because I'm going to tell you.
I know what you're gonna say.
Because I ain't
The
going to be.
story just keeps getting better.
Yeah, I mean.
In 1817, Caesar and Gaspar became enemies after Caesar stole some of Gaspar's female prisoners for himself. Out of
Ho.
revenge, Gaspar raided Caesar's camp in Sanibel, driving away from Florida's Gulf Coast and toward the East Coast. It is believed that the majority of Caesar's treasure got abandoned during his departure. No records remain of Caesar's capture or death. It is a local mystery. So what were you going to say about
So
you were-
if I was going to be a pirate, that's the way I would have went. I mean, think about it.
Well, wait, Cash.
I wouldn't be like, plundering,
What would you do?
gold. I mean, think about it.
What would you do?
You and I, we'd have the island, our own private island.
You and who?
We loaded up, me, you, and Sean. I mean, Sean and Tyler. We loaded up, and then we go, for what do you call it? We have all these beautiful women, and we had their, for hostage.
All these
And
beautiful
for
women by,
hostage.
all these beautiful women by choice that would want to be with us.
No, I'd prefer to take my girlfriend.
But the thing is, though, that's where Captiva Island came. But think about it. He had a history of 38 years.
Gasparilla.
That's pretty wild. So tell me, then they have a feast down there? Seriously, go
No,
ahead.
they have a huge drinking event where everyone dresses up like pirates and gets real rowdy.
And where's this at now?
I know
Anywhere
in
Fla-
Tampa, but I think all
So
of
it
Florida.
probably has to do with this then. This is where it came from.
Sure named after this.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
Gasparilla. Gasparilla Music Festival? Tampa?
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
know it's a music festival. I think people also just on the streets in the clubs just go and dress up as pirates.
Oh, that sounds pretty wild.
Gasparilla. Yep.
This is it.
Pirates, parades, and pyrotechnics. Ye mystic crew of Gasparilla invites you to join us for the pleasures and treasures of Tampa's signature Gasparilla celebrations. That's pretty cool.
It's crazy.
We should go check it out.
Yeah,
All right, we're making a trip. Actually,
Gasparilla.
we already missed it.
it happens every year.
So when I was so you talk about this pirate stuff. So down in the Caribbean, right? This is before Irma, and when Tortola and that whole area was really cranking. There was this guy who him and his wife would sail, and they had this really
Were they pirates?
yeah. Well, he would dress up as a pirate, but he had this
Oh, you
boat.
told us this.
And they would set up at night and they would sing, and he would go from one island to the next, and it was amazing. And he would, pirate jokes and everything, and it was pretty good. And I'll tell you you got to.
Pirates are cool. I feel like we don't like they weren't around for a long time, but they definitely had a moment in history.
Rich history.
Try me do one
Rich
thing
history.
before we try to go on here and look up. Do me a favor, look up Caribbean One weather. Caribbean One weather. There's a guy. You gotta love this, Sean. I forgot about this, but I was looking at some of my old videos I had. So down in the Caribbean, there's this. It's called Caribbean One show. There's this guy, right, who would have a parrot on his shoulder. See, put down a guy with Caribbean One with parrot on his shoulder.
Weatherman.
He had a fake parrot, right? And this guy was a white guy, and he would do the Caribbean weather. And I'm watching one day, and I like the whole shtick. Here he is, right there, the top one.
Weather for the birds.
Play this guy here. You got to love this. This guy. I mean, you got to people who got to watch this. And can you hit the play the video? I mean, just don't let it go.
Is it not working?
Here he is. You got the bird right there. It's like a puppet.
Oh, he's got Mr. Hands.
This is
Look
your
at
boy.
this. Can you put the violin? Can we hear it? Can you try it?
The volume won't work because of the update. We
Hey,
can hear
So
it.
we can hear it though.
That's right.
So the parrot is given the
Is
weather.
that his finger as the beak?
That's his hand.
Oh no.
I'm telling you, look at him right there.
He's creepy.
He's a creepy guy, man. This guy, and like you got to understand. Look at the snow. The Caribbean, he does everything from Puerto Rico you know, even in Jamaica, all the way down to Aruba. You know, I mean, the Caribbean is a huge area. People don't understand it. They think, you know, you have the United States, you have South America, you have Europe. Well, the Caribbean collectively is a millions and millions of people, and it's a huge economy.
But it's like maybe the size of Texas.
There's a lot of people. I could tell you right now, there's probably 15 million, maybe 20 million.
I'm just saying, like size of the
but
islands.
there's a lot of money. There's a big industry, and people don't understand it. But this guy, though, I used to watch him, and everybody wants to look at. So what was he under Caribbean One News? He's got this fake parrot, a hand puppet, and he does this whole thing. What year was that? Let me see. What's his name? When I interviewed weatherman, what is it, Joey Stevens? What year is that? Let me see. Go up a little bit. Oh, 2011. He may not even be anywhere. Anyway, so I thought that was pretty neat.
Caribbean One weatherman and Bob the Parrot.
This is literally Mr. Hands from South Park.
It really is, dude.
This is real. I'm sitting there one day. Think about it. I worked all day. I was seeing patients, right? And I'm tired, and I go back to my hotel room, and I put the TV on, and I'm looking at the weather.
This is the guy that's gonna say there's a typhoon tomorrow.
And this guy comes on with this puppet and everything. I thought it was a skit, like a Saturday Night Live skit, you know. And he had like this flowered shirt on. He's got this puppet. It's like really
he just
bad.
kept going. It never ended.
And then I'm like, whoa. And then and every time I go there, I put it on, and this guy was legit, man. It was serious. It was funny. And I don't know how. You got to think about it. You know, a lot of people in the Caribbean, they must look at that and go, well, I guess that's okay. You know, I mean, they thought it was something interesting.
No, it's probably what set him apart from like other.
Oh, it definitely did.
Other people trying to get jobs in the Caribbean for being a meteorologist.
All right. So what else we got? We got our T-shirts hopefully coming soon. What do we want to say?
Yeah, we've been talking about this for 2 months, guys.
Oh, listen, we got to
do have shirts coming.
They're actually coming.
All right, before we forget, we got to talk about something else. So we are. I want to put this out. We are the Seaside Heights lifeguard. We work in Seaside Heights. We have the swim test coming up. Okay, can you pull it up on the phone? Do you have the dates? Did he send you the dates? Because it's in May. We have the swim coming up. Can they go? What's our webpage?
You can go to the Seaside Heights Beach Patrol on Facebook. We also have a post up on our Instagram. It's pinned to the top of our page. The swim test dates for the Seaside Heights Beach Patrol are April 30th, May 7th, and May 21st. It's a 500-meter swim, and it's taking place at Tom's River Fitness. So if you're interested, get in touch with Captain Rob Connor. You can find his number on the Facebook post or that post we have up on our Instagram. And yeah, even if it's the heights you're not interested in, Island Beach, Lavalette. I was talking to Joe today. Mm-hmm. They got a lot of guys and girls leaving this year. They need help. Also, Joe was calling you out a little bit. You got to start working out at the Y.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you got to start showing up and swimming.
I tell you, well, I'm waiting my show. So listen, is that posted? Where's that posted?
So, like I said, it's pinned to our Instagram page, and it's posted on the Seaside Heights Beach Patrol Facebook. Also, official announcement, something we've also been talking about for a couple months, the indoor preseason tournament, Lifeguards Off Duty, Closed Water Preseason Invitational is officially live. We will tomorrow be posting the information on our Instagram. You'll see a pinned story and a description of all the events, and you can, in the link tree, find the Eventbrite where you can get your Beach Patrol signed up. We're really excited about it. It's going to be a unique, fun, exciting competition, and yeah, come show that your Beach Patrol stays the fittest in the off season.
Right. So you get all this information on our Instagram.
Yep, you'll be able to find that stuff on our Instagram,
which is
we will link
at
to
LG Association.
Yep, LG.association on Instagram. If you want more information about it, you can email us at lifeguardsoffduty@gmail.com or drkachmar@icloud.com. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, let me just make about a point about lifeguarding. You know, our beach, I just want to make a plug for our beach because, you know, we're all from there. There's a lot of great beaches, but our place, I mean, if you want action, if you want, you know, we get crowds. It's you got the boardwalk, it's lively. I don't think you could ever say our beach is boring.
No,
not at all.
And you work on our beach, after you're done, how many years you work, you could work in any beach in the world. I mean, you know, we have a tough beach, but it's a lot of fun. and I think it's a great place. The what's interesting too, we could talk about this another time, but actually one of Dr. Discus brought this up, and now a lot of beaches are having difficulty getting lifeguards, right? And a lot of beaches are only going to have 40 hours because you got to pay overtime. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that Billy came up, and I think this is great, and I'm going to talk to Tim Harmon, is that think about this. You work in Seaside, right? Say you're only allowed 40 hours. Now, maybe our beach, we could go over, we have overtime. But like Lavalette only allows 40 hours. Well, why don't Lavalette hire you? You work, say, we could go over there. Mm-hmm. If they don't need us on our beach, for that, and you work your 40 hours or whatever, or even 50, but you could go work for Lavalette for 10 hours. I don't know if there's a problem, but that might be a way to solve this overtime issue. You're not going to get the overtime. I don't know if they have to pay you an overtime because it's another beach.
Yeah.
So I got to look at.
Yeah, and that's also
think about
we
that.
Can all
Isn't
kind
that
of pool our resources to staff the beaches.
Yes.
At any given day, you got guys sitting home just because you won't let them work.
Right. Well, you can't. But like now, even Island Beach State Park, I talked to Chip Bruce at State Park. The state of New Jersey has a hard stop on 40 hours, even though they're the ones who made the law pay overtime, but they won't let their own lifeguards. But then again, they won't let their own lifeguards go over 40. They'll let them if they have to, but they don't want to save money. It's taxpayer money. It's a prudent thing, but but then again, they get $18.50 an hour. So I think that this is something that could help everybody. I'm going to try to work on it. But our beach patrol is unique, and when we say is our better or worse, there's no place like Seaside Heights.
It's better.
So you could say it's better. I mean, we get big crowds. Every stand has an umbrella. We have tons of breaks. No, but
that's going to be the selling point.
No. But we pay for
to come join our beach patrol.
No, listen, we pay for overtime. We also think about it. We start Memorial Weekend. Sometimes 2 weeks before that. We go all the way until the end of September. You could stick around. You can make a lot of money. A lot of beaches are hard closed in September. They don't start until July. So you say, I'm going to get maybe paid $1 more at another beach. That's fine. But you're going to work a lot more hours on our beach. And we do pay overtime. We may not push it all the time because we're trying to work on the budget. But it's definitely at the end of the season. We try to go with overtime. I know you're shaking.
Everybody, thanks for listening.
Goodbye. All right.
Well,
so listen.
Yeah, come to the Heights. Learn how to be a leader.
It's a good place to work. And so they go one more time. Athlete. They could go on what's the Heights?
LG.association.
No, for
yes, that's the one they can find it.
Okay,
find all the information you need from that Instagram.
All right. Anything else, Sean? You want to say goodbye?
Bye, guys.
Let's get the far shot here.
10 minutes of plugs.
10 minutes.
100 million minutes of plugs.
All right, good.
Plugs forever.
Plugs forever. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys next week. We're going to do shows Wednesdays now, I think. Every Wednesday.
That's the plan.
All right, listen.
All right, gang.
Please stay out and stay alive. Stay out and stay alive. Bye-bye.
Subscribe.